Jeremy Carr hopes he will be able to walk through his front door in Avon soon. He's struggling, though, with the reason why he'd be able to.
Yeah.
His hands have turned something in pieces into something worth showcasing since he was 8 years old. That stopped on his birthday, 2012.
I went to Golden Corral to eat my birthday dinner. I thought I just ate a lot of food, but I didn't.
Jeremy Carr went to the hospital.
And they was like, you can't leave. Why? They said, well, your heart's working at like 7%.
Eventually, he was able to go home with a device that essentially took over the left side of his heart. He was home for a few years.
Now the right side of my heart's giving out. They don't make a machine for that, so I'm just counting the days.
This father of two turned 38 last week. He celebrated here, where he's been for 6 months.
Just one of them things that we did.
The hard truth is he needs someone to pass away so he can live.
I didn't deal with it very well because it's just like, okay, somebody else has got to lose their loved one so I can live, but I've come to terms now, it's just I will do the best I can do to carry on that organ or their heart and carry it on and treat it the best I can. When they come up here, it's hard for me to watch them leave.
His name sits at the top of the Indiana Donor Network registry for his blood type.
But the only bad thing is my size. They can't seem to find one that's big enough for, to work for my body.
And many days scrolling through his news feed, he can't help but wonder.
They announced and broadcasted it that he's an organ donor and this, and when you hear stuff like that, didn't know his blood type, but he was my size, and it's like, please let this be it so I can get this over with, but it wasn't. I gotta keep my head up and just smile at it, I guess.
Okay. And he's doing that by keeping his head down once again.
The models, that's how I keep it together. This is some more stuff that they sent me.
An auto mechanic career and years at racetracks inspired him to go bigger.
Cut up power probes to your fingers and use all the wiring off of it.
So he builds them, then he takes bedpans, chest tubes, whatever he can get his hands on, and tricks it out. Word of his work is spreading. While he's waiting on a heart, people across the country are warming the one he has now.
I just want to say thank you to all the people that's sending me stuff.
Putting these together helps him keep it together.
You ain't never stressed like you would if you was waiting on a heart transplant.
Well, we shot this story on Monday. We shot it on Monday. He's been in there 6 months, and guess what? We have a big update on Jeremy, so take a look.
My surgeons were just in here. My transplant doctors, they've got a 98% match. This morning,
So he went into surgery at midnight. It can take really anywhere from 6 to 12 hours, so he's still in surgery. He texted me last night. When he gets home to Avon, he's going to build us a news van model and bring it here to the station.
The Unsers have brought home 9 wins from the Indy 500, more than any other family in the race's history. Before they could celebrate victory at Indy, though, they had to cope with some life-changing loss.
Bobby was the first Unser to make it to victory lane at the Indianapolis 500, but he was not the first Unser to race there. His big brother Jerry came to Indy as a rookie in 1958. 1 year later, he died from injuries sustained during a crash in practice.
I think we're a family that accepts things the way they are. Sometimes you don't like them. That's for dang sure. When I talked to him the day before he passed away, he didn't think he was going to die, and he wasn't talking about that. He was talking about getting me a car to drive.
Not only did Bobby get a car to drive for the Indy 500,
Bobby Unser has won at Indy.
He won it 3 different times. An incredible accomplishment, especially for someone who never thought he could actually win there.
I really down deep didn't think that I had enough talent to come here. I thought, wow, that's not the place for me. I'm a small town country boy, I'm doing okay. But go to Indianapolis, I didn't see it.
In 1970, 2 years after Bobby's first win,
He takes it, and it's all over.
his brother Al made his way to Victory Circle.
Here we come, though, to the checkered flag for Al Unser.
Something he would do 3 additional times,
And it's just hard to fathom.
making him one of only 3 drivers ever to win the 500 4 or more times. Before long, his son, Al Jr., also known as Little Al, came along. And at age 9, while sitting atop phone books so he could see over the steering wheel of his go-kart, he too started winning, but not without a little help from his Uncle Bobby.
And I told his dad, I said, kid needs some power. I said, it's got to go faster. So I threw it in the back of my truck, took it down to our shop, and put some nitro in it. And the kid way won all the races. I told his dad, I said, see there, kid just needs a little power, you know.
Al Jr. leads.
Just like his father and Uncle Bobby, Al Jr. made his way to Indy, but it was a bit of a bumpy start.
The first time that I was in an Indy car driving out onto the racetrack, and this happened in April of '83 with the rookie orientation program, which I failed miserably.
Yeah, I never heard that.
I didn't pass my final stage
Really?
of rookie orientation.
You just don't know what Indy means.
Al Jr. went on to win the 500 twice, modeling his driving style after the 2 men he knew best.
Well, Uncle Bobby, I felt that he wants to be the fastest all the time, in practice, qualifying, and if the car's going to break, he wants to be leading it. My dad, however, his philosophy was, the only lap I want to lead is the last one.
But the Unser legacy isn't without a little scandal. The 1981 race was the only 500 where the winner was determined in a courtroom.
Unser passes other cars while falling back into line.
Officials ruled Bobby illegally passed cars while exiting the pit area, dropping him to second place and declaring Mario Andretti the new winner. Ultimately, the results were reversed in court, giving Bobby the win and making him and Mario mortal enemies.
Well, it's over with.
Let me talk, Bobby. Okay, it's your turn.
That was until Bobby was battling some health issues not long ago. And while laying in his hospital bed, the phone rang.
He starts talking to me, and I said, who is this? He says, don't you know my voice? He says, it's Mario. I thought, damn. He's going to get over being mad before I am.
But if he could go back to that race in 1981, would he do anything differently?
Yeah.
Pass more cars.
Pass more cars.
Oh man, it was too funny.
They're hysterical.
Great storytellers.
Months after CBD oil was legalized in Indiana, Hoosiers appear to be cashing in across central Indiana.
25 years in education. I used to install medical imaging equipment. It was time for me to step out.
Hoosiers are quitting their 9-to-5s and instead opening their own businesses, selling these cannabis oils and CBD oil-infused products. Oil that is extracted from hemp but has such low levels of THC, it does not get you high.
I have here coffee, snacks, teas.
Frederick Erdman says he's the first to open inside a family mall. His store inside Washington Square Mall on Indy's east side.
This used to be a K Jewelers, yes it did.
Across town, sales have soared for former Rossville principal Michael Gick.
My business plan, I was phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. I thought phase 3 would be year 2. I'm in phase 3 in month 3. I knew that we would do well.
He just opened his third CBD solution store within just months, the latest in Plainfield.
One of the products that I'm very excited about are our gummies.
Those gummies that Gick just pointed out have proven to be successful for some Hoosiers like Rhonda Ressler's son.
He has ADHD and he has generalized anxiety and he has depression.
12 years old and in the 6th grade, Ressler's son was taking several medications to treat ADHD, depression, anxiety, IED, DDMD, and ODD.
He started to go downhill. I feel like in the whole picture we started over-medicating him and medicating him for side effects of medicine rather than everything else.
Hospitalized multiple times and out of ideas, doctors cleared most of the medicine from that boy's body.
Especially in adolescence is trial and error.
Mom went looking for another alternative, and she found CBD oil.
We just give him one gummy every morning.
So has it been night and day for you?
Absolutely.
A night and day difference, but one that wrestler and most business owners will warn, buyer beware. The sale of CBD oil is still new, and many Hoosiers don't know what to look for when purchasing that product.
If there's no testing, it could be 500 milligrams of corn syrup, I'll be quite honest with you.
According to state law, CBD oil sold in Indiana must contain 0.3% or less of THC, that chemical that creates a high. And all packaging is required to contain a QR code like this one.
That code is what makes it legal.
You have to be able to scan it and go to the lab results to see exactly what's in each bottle.
You can scan this code with your phone, and on it you're going to find batch information, including the manufacturer, expiration dates, and exactly who made the product. It's a regulation to help keep you safe.
But who's making sure those codes are correct? The CBS 4 problem solvers contacted every agency we could think of in the state and across the nation, trying to find out who is regulating these products, checking for that QR code, and making sure Hoosiers aren't getting swindled. The Alcohol and Tobacco Commission saying, quote, retailers do not need to have a specific license, that pretty much anyone could open a shop like this anytime. And unless a consumer files a complaint about a place or product, law enforcement has no reason to go inside those CBD oil stores.
I ask people to research, educate themselves, be careful.
Store owners like Gick and Erdman say this code does help hold store owners accountable.
I was still a little skeptical.
As for Rhonda Ressler,
I was lost. I didn't know what to do.
She's just thankful to have another option to help her son. She'll continue to educate herself about CBD oil.
Now I'm kind of relieved. I want people to know that there are other options out there.
Gick says you need to be especially careful if you order CBD oils online. If you do that, you're often getting products from other states and they won't have that QR code, which means you really have no idea what you're getting. I'm Angela Brower, CBS 4 News.